Employees of escape rooms. What is the most incorrect thing someone has attempted to do to escape? A woman pulled out a power drill from her purse and exclaimed she'd have them out of there in no time. We actually had to go in and explain that yes, the goal is to escape, but it's more fun to actually do the puzzles and try to solve the room. Also, who carries a power drill in their purse? I have a coworker with a magic backpack. It's not terribly large, but everything you need is inside. So far the things I've said I wish I had at work that he has produced within seconds. Tide stain stick, lint roller, super glue, sewing kit, charging cable, micro USB, charging cable, mini B, power brick, full Dremel set with 100 attachments, wooden shims, heat shrink tubing, winning lottery ticket, $12 pre-scratched, but still. I thought it was gonna be a gotcha, and he produced. We work boring office jobs. I'm convinced his backpack is magic. At my old place, when someone asked, "Can I pick the locks?" we'd say sure, cause we didn't think anyone would miss the point of escape rooms so much they'd bypass all the fun stuff deliberately. His wife and daughter were not nearly as amused with his abilities as he was. This is the lockpicking lawyer and we're out. Employee for about a year here. Had a guy literally pull out a knife and cut through the fucking wall. I'm talking combat knife from his boot, cut through the wall. Yes. He had to pay for damaging the room. People get crazy when put under a lot of stress and they know other people have completed the thing that they're working so hard to complete. Part of the crazy makes sense. His name was Dwight Schrute. What is my perfect crime? I break into Tiffany's at midnight. Do I go for the vault? No, I go for the chandelier. It's priceless. As I'm taking it down, a woman catches me. She tells me to stop. It's her father's business. She's Tiffany. I say no. We make love all night. In the morning, the cops come and I escape in one of their uniforms. I tell her to meet me in Mexico, but I go to Canada. I don't trust her. Besides, I like the cold. 30 years later, I get a postcard. I have a son and he's the chief of police. This is where the story gets interesting. I tell Tiffany to meet me in Paris by the Trocadero. She's been waiting for me all these years. She's never taken another lover. I don't care. I don't show up. I go to Berlin. That's where I stashed the chandelier. Approximately 9 to 10 years ago, when escape rooms were starting to pop up, my mom's friend literally stuck a key-like object in an outlet thinking it was a clue and almost electrocuted herself. I've done one escape room and our group was told in person and in writing multiple times not to pull anything off the walls. We failed the room because we didn't find the clue hidden in a compartment behind the wall clock that you had to take down to get to. Still angry about it. Was in a Cold War race against nuclear annihilation type setting. Spent 10 minutes trying to find keys for this file cabinet that held all the clues. Each drawer had its own key and we were missing one. I used my fingers to unscrew the latch on the side and opened the drawer. We beat it with 5 minutes and the guy apologized because they hadn't replaced the key before we came, yet reprimanded me for altering property. Not an employee, but this one guy pulled the fire alarm after specifically being told that the fire alarm was not a clue. He said he thought he saw a code behind a lever. Everyone's night was cut short. Watched someone pull out one of those folding lock picks and go to work on a door. I've been working at an escape room for almost 3 years now. We have a Western Gold Rush themed room, and there is a broomstick in the room which is used in one of the puzzles. On the broom it says can, which hints that it's used in connection with some pictures of can dances on the wall. There was once this group of about 5 women, each of them maybe 25 to 32 years old. They seemed a bit stuck, so I sent him a hint to read the broomstick and see if it related to anything in the room. in which they somehow thought it meant that they all had to link arms together and do the can-can dance in the middle of the room for about 2 minutes straight, in hoping it would do something or some door would unlock. At which point the only reason they stopped was because I sent him another hint saying that the dancing was not going to do anything. Fun times LMFAO. Not an employee, but have done a few with some pretty stupid people. The worst things I've seen someone do are: try forcing open the entrance door, force meaning throw the full body against it. Try to climb into the air vents thinking it was part of the room. It wasn't. We were asked to leave that room. You know how you have to leave your phones. Someone brought the 3DS and tried to hook it onto the phone's hotspot that they turned on right before they left the phone. We might have failed the room, but I give that guy an A for creativity and effort. Someone threatened to shit on the floor. He didn't, but I thought he would. And that's pretty much it, at least until I do another one. Solved the escape room and the other hidden puzzle that played in this room. It started automatically if you solved the main one in under a certain amount of time. We actually had to escape by opening a window, climbing out and walking back inside the building, which was kind of cool. The catch: there had been builders doing renovations on the building, and they had painted the window shut. So the guy walks in after watching us fail to open it for 10 minutes saying stuff like, "Oh, you can solve the hard version of the room but can't open a window." He then tries to open it. And thinking about him strained for a solid 2 minutes to open this window after taking the piss still makes me laugh. Not an employee, but one time my group thought we all had to hold hands. The recording said to hold all the handlebars. So I always like to imagine the guy watching us was laughing at us. Not an employee, but my sister and I escaped with the fastest time ever at this one place due to my sister reaching her tiny hand inside the last chest and pulling out the last key. How did they get out in 1 minute? The room is supposed to last 45 minutes. That girl has really small hands. I bet she can reach the bottom of a Pringles can. I did an escape room a couple months ago with my boyfriend and his family. We completed the puzzle pretty good, except for the fact at the start we were handcuffed. I was put in charge of unlocking everyone once we solved the puzzle for the key. Here's the kicker. I unlocked mine and my boyfriend's pretty good got around to his stepdad. Broke the key. They had to solve the rest of the puzzle handcuffed, and to this day still bring it up. We have a "do not touch" sticker for things that are just props, not clues. One group pulled every damn one off and lined them up looking for a clue. Jesus. Had a woman lug one of our smaller tabletop safes through 2 rooms because they didn't open it yet, instead of leaving it there and going back to it when they figure it out. I'm pretty proactive about this stuff and look ahead of time to keep people from destroying stuff, but I have had all sorts of things happen. People have tried to climb into vents. People have broke open locks, sometimes on accident, sometimes not. People have pried stuff open like drawers or locked compartments. Sometimes they have pulled light fixtures off walls. However, the funniest one I've seen is that someone basically pried open a set of bars, think prison bars, that were magnetically locked. They then went inside these bars and closed them behind them and locked themselves inside the room. I wasn't personally running this game, one was just watching it since it was the only one running at the time. Me and the person running it were just cracking up watching this unfold. We had to then manually trigger the bars anyways so that they weren't locked in the room, but that is definitely the funniest one I have seen, even if not the most incorrect. They were one step from unlocking the bars anyways. Some people pick the lock switch just. Why? They didn't presumably do it as a tactic, but people show up baked, and that's actually pretty fun more often than not. And finally, we have one clue where you are supposed to connect mentally and physically to reach for the metal items, basically hold hands and touch the identical metal things across the room from each other. Completes a circuit. Really common puzzle if you've done a lot of rooms. We had a group pry one of them off the wall, carry it over the other and touch them together. They apparently weren't put off by the loose wires trailing behind said item after they ripped it out. Not an employee, but the first escape room I did, my brother shat his pants and didn't want to leave the room because he thought we'd lose. There was a point where we were all screaming about how bad it smelled and tried to get him to leave. I'm sure the employee watching us had a good time. How old was he? The ripe old age of 18. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Reddit content.